If you are a yoga teacher or aspiring to be one, then you're in the right place. In this journey, we'll be meeting a lot of fantastic yoga teachers who will be sharing their experiences and good practices which we can learn from them. As a yoga community, I think we have a huge responsibility in front of us. So, if not great, at least let us become good, responsible yoga teachers. Hi, my name is Kiran. I'm going to be our host. Please do subscribe for this channel so that you do not miss out on meeting the experienced yoga teachers. Firstly, thank you so much for accepting our invite, and then you're gonna be my first guest in this channel. A quick little introduction about you to the viewers. Pooja, who left Jaipur for studies in 2009, and then ended up becoming a yoga teacher who had owned shala in 2019 in 10 years of span. Was completed RYT 500 hours, QCI, YIC, currently pursuing MSc from my favorite organization, Swiyasam, and then who loves traveling, scuba diving, sketching, horse riding. Also, I figured it out, you have a bullet who loves to ride and also have great photography skills. Welcome to our channel.
Thank you so much, Kiran. Such a lovely introduction. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be the first guest of yours. And such a beautiful idea that you have started this thing. It would be nice to have all the teachers together also. It would be great.
Oh yeah, one day, definitely. We all should, connect and then share our thoughts and ideas. Because today, currently, we have a lot of different schools of thoughts, right? You go to
Yes.
north, it's a different. You come to south, it's different. And then I somewhere read
Yes.
Krishnamachari wanted to have one school of thoughts when he was there, and then he couldn't do it.
Hmm.
That's where I read somewhere. He worked with Paramahamsa Yogananda, and a
Mhm.
lot of spiritual leaders were back then there, and then again
Yeah.
different people were fighting between each other, and then he wanted to collab and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe in our generation we are very open minded, and then it
Yes.
could happen, if all of us come
Definitely.
together. So starting with one question, so how did you get into yoga?
Ah, it's a. See, many people have asked me that. I've thought about it a lot. But I don't think I chose yoga. It's a very, very cliched answer. But then, to be very honest, I think yoga chose me. It was not me picking it or anything. I was in marketing for about 6 years, 5, 6 years, and I was never satisfied with the work that was there. It was never fulfilling. At the end of the day, I would always question myself, what am I doing here? And I left marketing not for yoga, but actually I had left it for a trek instructor. So I was trek instructor for almost an year, and then just took a break and just practiced yoga for a month. I started with YIC, and that was a very good thing. So for me to happen back then, I would not think that it is a good thing, but now if I look back, definitely it feels that it was the right thing to happen. And yeah, so instead of course continuing with anything else with all the fields that you mentioned, I think it was yoga that chose me. I didn't choose. I never thought that I'll leave, quit, and then become work in this wonderful practice that is there. But just chose me, not me,
I resonate
not
with you.
otherwise.
I even when people ask me how to get into yoga, even I tell the same thing. Whatever you said, I think yoga
Yeah,
chose me because I was completely opposite person.
yeah, I can
Because
relate to
if
that.
my mom said don't do that, I would do that. On puja day, if it's or
Uh-huh.
any celebration would happen, mom would say don't eat for certain food. I would go and eat it, and that's how I was there. Now I do fasting, and then I do more puja than my mom today, and and
That's
I
nice.
completely agree. It chooses us.
Yeah.
We are blessed.
Yes, you're
We are
best.
blessed to be in this. So you directly went into YAC.
I
You didn't
started with
join as
YIC.
student.
Yes, I started. One of my friend
Okay, that's
recommended me to go there and start the practice over there. So yeah, so first course that I did was YIC. I never joined any yoga shala or yoga schools before this at all. This was the first. This was the
Yeah, my
intro to
journey
it.
is also same.
Yes, that's
Mine
nice.
is also directly I went into become a yoga teacher, and then I realized a lot of things. I met a lot of people. As we were talking the other day,
Yeah.
we had 160 people in our batch
Oh, that's nice.
across the globe, and then in India as well. We are
Yes.
lot of with lot of them. I'm still connected,
Oh,
though we
yeah.
don't
I
speak every
know.
day.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
It's a beautiful relationship,
Yes,
right?
that's
Yeah.
very nice.
So the next question. Okay, now we got into yoga.
Mhm.
I know, but what made you stick into yoga?
See, as I said that I told you right that in marketing I was not very satisfied, and when I started practicing yoga, I think there was no reason to go back. It was so fulfilling. It was so satisfying. I never questioned one day that what am I doing. So that question never came after that. That what am I exactly doing here? Of course, there was confusion in terms of stability initially. That is it good to go or not? Practically, is it a good decision or not to switch? But then that satisfaction was there. So
Uh,
I
this is
think.
my personal question as well. When I go into your profile, you joined as a yoga instructor in cult, and then you started your own shala. How was that
Ah,
journey?
okay. It is a little twisted, too many twists and turns in this story. So I had left my job already, as I told you, and I was a trek instructor. I took a break from there, and then I completely took a break. I just focused a little on practice. I was on maybe sabbatical, if you can say so, but then just figuring out what to do. While I was doing that, so there were a few of my neighbors who were there, and I stay in a rented house, so first floor and ground floor people. They just we happened to talk, and then they said, since you have learned so much and you practice, can you teach us? So my journey of teaching started there. It was not. Starting thought of having a yoga studio and I start there. That was not how I had thought of. I never thought that I'm good enough to start teaching. But then they said, okay, this is very basic. We want to start practicing with you. And to be very honest, it was very not so matured state at that point of time when you start. For me, also, like so many others, it only started with asana practice, right? It was not the holistic approach that
Yeah.
we all had. So it started from there that my neighbors and the co-mates who are there around there staying, they started, and then the other people got to know around, and then I just started from home. So when I was teaching at home, that's where, and there itself, I just named it Balance Yoga. It just came from my parents that you can name something, and I named it at that time. So it was just a small 4 people, 5 people can fit into the room, and that's where I started it. We changed our hall into that. At the same time, that was my husband's startup place also. So we used to switch, and it was that was the only space we started from. Never ever had a thought of this starting up with the yoga studio. So at that time, Cult had was calling for interviews, and I thought, why not to explore more ideas, because this was more restricted to go, and I was happy to go there. Except that I think when I went there and I went for the trainings, there was 1 month training program, and you have to start teaching there after 1 month. Some things didn't match. Some of the timings didn't match, and the way the criterias were didn't match with me. It was taking away a lot of freedom that I had, which I was doing it over here. So I think that was the reason I chose to not continue over there at that point of time. I'm sure it has changed a lot right now. At that time, they were just figuring out. But I met
Yeah.
wonderful people at that time as well. They're very, very good friends even now. Yeah, it was just not this time to continue there. And just one fine day, some of my students, they wanted other people to join in along with them, and they were the ones who found out the space for me there. So there were many other places, but then finally it was the studio that you saw. That was one of my students who
Beautiful
saw that
place.
place before, and that's how I switched there. It was not.
It's
It was
it's a
not a
beautiful
sketch.
relationship.
Yeah, it was not a. sketch in my head that I want to do this eventually. Just happened. So
Mm-hmm.
just follow the journey.
It came your way again.
Yeah, it did. Truly did.
And as of today, what are the courses you have done,
Um,
and
there
from
are
which institutes?
there are few of them, like many of them, bits and pieces from many schools. But I'll probably name the top ones which are coming into my mind right now. So first one was of course the YIC that I started from. I'm very very happy that it started from there. Come to that point little later maybe. Then there is India Yoga. I did my 200 and
Hmm.
300 TTC from there,
From Mysore.
from Mysore, India Yoga. Bharat sir, he is such a beautiful soul. And
Yeah.
then I did from Himalayan Iyengar Yoga. I did courses from Sharat sir there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, to name a few right now.
And then currently now MSc. Now
Now
currently
MSc,
MSc.
yes.
And follow-up question: do you think yoga teachers should keep learning? It
Oh,
just
yeah.
doesn't. You don't stop in YAC.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't stop in.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
lifelong.
It
What is
is.
your thoughts?
Yeah, you're always, once a student, you're always a student of yoga. Yes, the learning
That's
cannot
so
stop.
thoughtful.
And if we just pick the realm of only asanas, even that cannot be taught in one lifetime. So forget about all the parts of yoga that are there, and all the books that we have read. Even there, all the renowned yogis that were there, the gurus that were there, it took them few lifetimes of practicing. So one lifetime, and that too, what we are doing today, yeah, we have to keep learning. The learning has to go on.
That's very true. I was watching one of the interview with Bharat Shetty sir, and then he was telling about his guru B.K. Iyengar. At the age of 70 or something, he was still doing
Practice.
research. He was
Yeah,
still learning.
yeah.
Yeah, and who's a celeb, legend in his own way, and he was still learning at
Yes.
the age, because people who was watching this, the new yoga teacher or who's established yoga teacher, they never feel that okay,
They
I've
know
learned,
everything. Yeah.
I can just, yeah. And that should not be the mindset. For the
Yes.
right kind of a yoga teacher
Yeah.
is what I feel. And what according to you is the good yoga teacher? Maybe quality, then how would you define?
I think, Kiran, it is. First of all, I would be the first one to go for an application saying that we should change the name of teachers training course. It is not a teacher that we can
Agree.
uh, that
Yes,
we
yes.
can make in 1 month. So maybe what YIC does is the right thing, that they are saying an instructor. At the most, we can make an instructor, but not a teacher in 1 month, right? So that is first part to that, that they should really think and they should really ponder of what word are we using, because people do think in 1 month that they have become teachers and start going about teaching in that much time. That is very not a very good way to go about this journey. I mean, even any, if we just take, as I said, only the asanas part also, any fitness course also you cannot learn in a month's time. So that is one part. And being a good teacher, I think the right intention would define the right teacher. It is what I believe. I'm sure there will be senior teachers who would have very different kind of thoughts around this.
True.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel that your intention would matter the most. Is your intention just earning money? Then it's a different path that we have chosen. If it's our intention to be at service and to be care about people who are coming, really caring about them, that I think matters more for me. I would not say who is good teacher or not, but we must be more responsible towards what we are teaching, yeah, what we are doing, because it's a journey which is as more than responsible than maybe doctors also. If someone's coming with ill health, they are coming to you, so you have to be more responsible than just knowing some name of asanas and reading a couple of books and say that we are a yoga teacher. So I think that intention would
Very
matter a
true.
lot.
Yeah, intention and
and
responsibility, these
responsibility.
two things were what comes to my mind as well, which you said. I did YAC, and then I, after 30 days, and then I felt, okay, I can't teach, because I felt that even
Oh
till
yes,
today
yes.
I feel that the more I learn, I get to know, okay,
We don't know
I don't know
nothing.
anything. The more I
Yeah,
learn,
that's true.
we don't know nothing, and
Yes,
then that scariness is always there,
yes.
which you said, it's a responsibility, because people will coming to you,
Yeah.
right? It could be illness, and the person is good health, but then the way you teach, they can get you into and any kind of an ailments again,
Yes, yes.
which you said responsible.
Yeah, need to be
We
more
should be
responsible.
responsible because we represent yoga,
Yes.
right? Because people are going and telling do yoga, and somebody is falling ill because of the yoga, and then they will say, yoga is causing this.
Yeah.
They would not say because of this person, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
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 true.
something which scares me today
Mm.
in the
It's
world
not a
what we
very,
are there today.
yeah. We've made fun of the term yoga. Really made fun of.
Yeah,
Not to be going international, it's really they have made a joke out of certain aspects. Not everyone. There are very great teachers, but yeah, it's become a joke of the way they have used. Come to know of if you listen beer yoga and whatnot is around. So that's not very responsible of using this term.
that's maybe things will change
Yeah,
as we go, as we pro. I think it's our generation, that's our responsibilities, and that's how I'm saying it. It's our responsibility
yeah,
to change and
true.
make how much ever we could do. We
Yes,
can't change everything, but then uh, individually, when all of us come together, we can definitely make
definitely,
change.
definitely.
Coming to the next question, how do you prepare for your classes?
Um, it is more. Initially, I used to prepare all of the classes before teaching, but then I think later it comes from the experience more. Because there are so many different kind of students. Someone is completely new. Someone is there with a slight maybe uh, more particular reason why they have joined. You have to take care of that, or particular injury, or some strength, or something, some other reason that we have to take care of all the students in the class. So you have to see who all are present. And as I said, that your intention is to take care of everything, or it is just to take the class what you have made. You decided that you'll teach today, and we are teaching this. So it can't go that way. Right? Say, for example, last week, it's a matter of 2 3 weeks back when so many of us were struggling with COVID, and then there was a wave within my students also. I cannot be saying that no, today we are doing this asana practice, what come what may.
Yes.
You have to turn around
Yeah.
and see what is the requirement of it right now. You have to understand from students what's there, and then um, offer them that. So as I said, that intention of care, if that is there, then I think that will answer wherever you are getting stuck. It will answer that. If you're doing it more as a service, then it will answer most of the answers.
Beautifully answered, very beautifully answered. Because I somewhere I kind of experienced that. Okay, why am I saying this? It's a service first,
Mm.
and we don't have a leverage where I can go night out, because I have a responsibility to take a class at four
Yeah, yeah,
a.m.
yeah.
or 5 a.m.
Yes, yes.
Right? So I have to. It's a responsibility. No, I can't. Like if I'm working in a corporate, I can say I'm taking off today. I'm
Mm-hmm.
falling sick, but I can't say this to my students,
No, we cannot
because they
say.
would have
Yeah,
prepared, and then
yes.
uh, because when I think service kind of an mindset
Attitude,
is what
yeah.
drives us to,
Yes.
yeah, attitude. That's beautifully answered, very beautifully answered. What are the books you refer? And it's not in terms of just to teach, but also to become better person in terms of for the journey of as a yoga teacher.
Um, So there are so many books now. There are so many of them to begin with. When you said this question before, also, I was wondering where can I start from about this part. There are so many of them. There are so many. But I would say, rather than just saying the books, maybe choose the author more mindfully and see if that person is more uh, how, like for example, as you mentioned, BK sir. So if you're choosing an author and then choosing what you want to study under that. You want to go about light on pranayama, you want to go on sutras, or you want to go on asanas. You can choose that accordingly. So I would say the same. For choose author more mindfully, like
Okay. Yeah.
like Paramahansa, or you're choosing uh, just choosing the author more mindfully, because I've seen so many new people writing the books. They are getting published and then they are just picking up verses from the books, whatever they understood. But it's better to take
Yeah.
and read from people whom they are learning from. So it would give you more depth of the
That's
article rather than
That's
choosing
very true.
name
How
of the
I
book.
would connect is, yeah, I will give you an example. Okay, I've been reading a lot of books recently. Then I found somewhere I felt it a lot of them taken from Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
For an example, Ikigai.
Yeah,
Ikigai talks about a lot of, and then I realized,
yeah.
okay, it's already said in
I
Bhagavad
love
Gita.
Ikigai. Yeah,
And then they take one, yeah,
yeah.
and then that's how I was able to connect. And then it's very true. If somebody is writing from the other person, go back to
The
the
roots of
real
it,
author
and
and then
yeah,
roots of it and then
then
understand.
understand it where
Yeah,
it's all coming
that,
from.
that definitely.
And then, of
Yeah.
course, see, Ikigai is
I,
also a beautiful book. So then you can come down to different books. But if we read what's there at the root of it and try to understand more of that, I think I'll give you more knowledge. And then take other books as
yeah,
reference, but choose the author more mindfully. And I'd say to
author.
so many of my friends before, not online, right now online, then
Uh-huh.
it's easy that so many of my friends or relatives are there, and they were asking me how can I choose the
Mm-hmm.
classes, offline classes.
Uh-huh.
So again, I would say don't go by the studio, go by the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It is better if you see if the
Mm-hmm.
teacher is good, then it makes more sense to go ahead with that.
Yeah,
So it's same with books as well.
it
Go
makes
back to
sense.
the roots of it and read more of that.
Oh, yeah, I never, because people do come and ask me, I mean, who stays in the, which you have said, who stays in the different country or a different state back then offline, they
Mm-hmm.
would ask me which yoga teacher
Yeah.
to choose. And then what I used to do is I used to go and attend the trial classes,
Okay.
because I wanted to,
Understand. Yeah,
because
yeah.
back then I was not able to afford for the classes. And then what I would do, go take the trial classes and then meet people. That's I used to do.
Yeah.
Mm,
Long back.
yeah.
Starting of the
And how
journey.
do you, yes, how do you strike a balance between, I think this is very important question, I feel. How do you strike a balance between family and then this profession? What is this
Ah,
teaching yoga? Because,
that is interesting question. So, because it is not like any other work, and as you were asking before, I think that is what you meant. What kind of preparations that we do of taking classes? I think family plays a very, very big supporting role in that, and I really thank my husband for that, my family for understanding that, because your work is not a 9 to 5 job. Because come what may, you have to wake up early. So 1 or 2 days you compromise at night and go around, but then it cannot happen at a regular basis, and you're not in a state that you can disturb everything else. You've made a commitment to students and have to stay by those commitments. So I cannot thank my family enough for that. First and foremost, I'd be very honest and very truthful about that. So many struggles, even to build up with the studio and to go offline, online, going everything online, leaving everything, and then still studying and still managing whatever kind of food I eat. He would cooperate with that because he's in IT. You know how the IT this is the generation that we are targeting. The IT people who are there in that. So he's the one. He's the kind of students who are joining in who want to change everything in the schedule. So you're two different extreme opposite poles living in same house. But then the support is just unbelievable. I think that is amazing kind of support that comes from the family, the kind of timings that you have to be very disciplined. First of all, for
Yeah.
yourself to be disciplined uh, is a very challenging thing. So, if you're staying by yourself in a house and you decide that this is what you're going to eat, you'll not eat junk, it's easy. But if same thing, if you go to a group of people, and it is called as sangat, that affects the most, right? So what kind of people you're staying with, and you cannot resist the day. Suppose you're fasting, and then there is food that is made, the food that you like is there. It becomes more challenging those days. So if family is there to support you, it means quite a lot. Means a lot to that.
Do you communicate with your family? Listen, this is what I want to do in my life, and then you
I think
you talk to
all
them.
of
Is the communication is
it is not my decision that I say that this is what I want to do, I'm going ahead. This is probably, I would say, that we discuss that what can I do? These are the options. What is the best way that we can go ahead and what could be done? This is what I would like to do, and this is the current scenario. So, what is the possible thing that we can do? So, I think discussion is rather than appropriate word to say than just putting it up.
and then you talk to each other and then figure out a way, how we can
How we
go
can
further.
go about that further, yeah. But then there are different challenges. As I said, the timings are very, very different for people who are teaching yoga. It's very difficult, not only sleeping. So, the moment I start my practice and finish up the classes by 9 o'clock, say in the morning, is the time that his office starts. Then, when his office starts, my evening classes get over. So, we get limited time that way. And then that's how we have to respect that weekends are weekends and no work on weekends, and we just figure out a sweet spot for families, right? See how we can work around there. But I would also say it's a good way, because in a 9 to 5 there are always pros and cons. So in a 9 to 5 job, probably I would have I was there, so I can understand that I would uh, it would be a sync up between both of us with a time and office. But then if it's not 9 to 5 job and it's morning and evenings, so in afternoons is when I get time to follow the lifestyle of yoga guys. So, cooking everything at home and doing everything that allows that, and that helps and aids and balance out between us. So yeah, you have to figure out where we are balancing, and if anything that is making the things imbalance, you have to work around that or take it off. So that I think depends from family to
Yeah.
family how it goes.
Mm, makes sense. Which you brought up self practice. Being a yoga teacher, how important is
Oh,
self practice?
everything. It is like prana. It is like the breath to any life. Probably more than that, it is the existence. Ah, that is everything. Everything to me.
Because
Rarely.
I also feel, what happened. My personal experience is, I have a job. I've been teaching, and then I thought, I was not getting enough time for my self practice,
Mhm.
and then I thought, I cannot take it easy. I can't let it go. Okay, I will not practice today. Self practice becomes more important to do well in other. It's and also to self growth as well.
Yes, yes.
We have to walk the journey as well.
Yeah.
How do you strike the balance? What do you do?
No,
How's
I
your
am
schedule?
very clear about it. Nothing comes in front of my self practice, even if I have to leave classes. So, nothing, even if I have to leave
Uh-huh.
everything else, the priority comes for practice. And by practice, I don't mean only asanas. And that is
Yes.
what I would connect back to the first point when I said that I'm very thankful that it started with YIC. Although I joined, although I joined SYASA thinking that it would be asana practice, and it was a very immature mindset at that point of time that it would be only asanas. It did open a plethora of Right? It opened the ocean of what is yoga to us. Right? It was not only asana. At that
Yeah.
time, it was very annoying that why aren't we doing more yoga practice? So that is what an amateur thought was. Where is asana? This is all like what is bhakti and what is gyan and what is all this that we are doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah?
know.
So
I
that
can feel that.
that was the initial stage, but I'm at the same time very thankful that all the other practices, all the other places that I've gone more than asanas, I have learned that it is more than asanas. It is that mental steadiness, the balance. So even, and I've been telling this to all my students or anyone who asks how to keep up with the consistency. It is because we think until and unless we don't sweat it like how we sweat it in gym or running or swimming, we have not done our practice, but that is not it. That is the mental stability, mental balance that we are looking for. And even if it requires some days your body gives up. Some days you're so tired that you don't want to go ahead, except other than your rest days or when you're so tired of the work. But same yoga practice helps to rejuvenate. Same practice helps to get back, even if it is a 15 minutes, say in practice, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of practice, or do a pranayama practice. It will help you to balance it out. So it is not when I say practice, I'm not saying sweating it out in asanas. It is
Yeah.
there, and
Yes.
I would listen. I have learned, and many teachers, probably you can bring this topic with other teachers also, that so many of us have learned it hard way with injuries that it's okay to go slow.
Same here.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
wish, I wish this topic, comes more, even in TTCs and other places, that
TTC.
don't wait for
Yeah.
the injuries to happen. I wish this knowledge was spread out more. We can discuss about it some other time. That don't wait for the injuries to come. You're not achieving any medals or any trophies by just forcing yourself into that. That's not giving any mental peace. That's not practicing yoga at all, as such. When we are just looking for asanas, and I've been very not very happy with the fact, like something like power yoga coming up, where where the asana itself means holding the pose, and then in power yoga, you're just moving this pose, that pose, this pose, this pose.
Yeah.
You're tired, and you're that, and hence you're doing shavasana. So I wish it was followed what it means, and it took. It was a very hard way to understand that it meant more peaceful rather than forcing ourselves. So it's okay to do 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, where your mind is more peaceful rather than you're fighting with it. That would be
That's
more
I,
sadhana.
that's my experience too. That's my experience too. I don't know. I got so uh, I would say addicted to handstand,
Yeah,
that I want to get the handstand. I want to get the handstand, and then I got the handstand, and then I'm like, what next?
yeah.
I got injury as well. I was doing. I got sciatica as well, like which you
Oh,
rightly
mhm.
said. We don't. We if somebody would have guided us or somebody would have
Before.
told us, it's okay.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
maybe we wouldn't have. And then I learned a big lesson.
Yeah,
Getting a sciatica and then patience.
yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Respect your body.
Respect.
Don't push too much.
Yeah,
That's the learning which it teaches you a lot.
yeah,
I learned a lot
yeah,
in that, and then currently, I think it's a journey, right? You
yeah,
get into as an asana, and then you move, and then you figure it out. Okay, it's an ocean, which you
yeah.
said, and then practice also becomes towards that.
Yes.
Um,
But I think that
Previously,
that
I
is.
would say,
Mhm.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Brad. Previously.
So previously, I would say, if in 1 hour, I would practice 50 minutes of, asana practice. The 10 minutes would be meditation. Now it's completely changed. It's
Yeah,
the other way around, because you get the taste of it, and then you want more,
yeah.
and that's what has happened.
True, true. Very true. But I don't think there is other way. I'm sure that we all were warned by our senior teachers, not in a very serious way, but there are other ways that
Yeah, yeah,
everyone told us. But I think somewhere or the other, these injuries themselves became the teachers, and they told us that go more peacefully and not fighting with yourselves.
yeah.
We had to.
That's
We
true.
chose
I
to. We chose the difficult path, not other way
and
around.
and 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 I follow Bharat Shetty a lot. Okay, whenever I'm free, and then when he comes online, I make
Yeah.
sure I watch
Yes.
this, and then
Beautiful soul.
he
Wonderful
brings up
soul.
he brings up, and then he said, "See, whoever got into an injury, it's a beautiful thing
It's his.
because then they would have understood, and then they become more deeper."
Yeah.
And you also mentioned this very beautifully. He said the yoga teacher who got an injury, when they're teaching, they become very
Very
conscious,
conscious.
and then because it's a self learning,
Yeah.
and then they'll make sure student doesn't go
Yes,
through.
yes,
And then I
yes.
was like,
Yes.
yeah,
It makes you very, very nice teacher. Very nice teacher. It teaches you many things, although it is a very painful way, but it teaches you a lot of things. A lot. It teaches you patience. Teaches you to look at it in a better way and not wrong.
that's very true, because what you said, we have different level of students in the same
Yeah.
class. I can't push everybody.
Yes.
That's something I have been very conscious
Yes.
on that after I got into an injury. Okay, everybody is a different body,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Should
it's
respect
a
it.
good thing, but in a very hard
Yeah.
way, I learned it, and then
Yes.
it's the same thing for you. Coming to the next question. Okay, I think this is gonna be a personal question for you. When I saw the post of you getting into an accident, and
Yeah.
then um, how did that feel? I think you were already into yoga path, and then you got into an
Yeah.
injury, and then how did yoga help you in that journey?
Many ways. Many ways. I don't know where I can start from about this. It was a long one, and it was everybody asking me same questions, so I thought of making the video of that part. But I didn't mention about the yoga, how it helped me. I think breathing helped me a lot there. I think just going for deep breaths of whatever was happening helped me be more calm, be more patient. Uh, Whenever getting into the operations, mm, and just believing that it would get better. And again, I would say this, Kiran, that because there were injuries before and because I was able to heal, we learned to heal them before, there was a sense of belief within me that this will pass, that this will get better. That this, even though whatever, how much ever difficult it is, it would go if we work towards it in the right direction. So I think, yeah, those were the good teachers there who had made me believe in myself that it would get better. That was the first thing. And when this accident happened, as I have shown in the video, that it is at that time it was not so bad. At that time it was just my hand. It looked more at wrist rather than at the hand, and that hand got worse after 15-20 days, and then the operation part came. So there was a lot of gap between the accident and the operations that were there, and staying in hospital for a month. But as the kind of gratitude that I have for my family and for my husband during that time is immense, because the studio had just started, and with the studio comes a very, very difficult part. Um, and I would probably try to connect the balancing between work and personal life over here. Not the accident part, but just managing that. It's a very difficult part, a very ironic part, because I left marketing and I'm doing more marketing here than anywhere else when I was in studio. It's a big irony over there. So what you're doing, it's more pull of staying constantly. You want to be in that sattvic state. You're working towards to be into that state, but then you have to force yourself to be in a rajasic state in the same day every single day. So that pull kind of was very, very, it still goes very difficult, but I've made peace with it somewhere, that this goes on for some time. But then, yeah, even with the studio had just started, and you're doing your own practice, and you're still managing the bills, and you're still getting students there, still trying to figure out stuff in between that hassle, and then the accident happens. So you still have to pay the rent, and you still have to pay the hospital bills, and then you have to worry that can you be ever. It shook me from within when the doctors said directly that you may come into the category of handicaps because the hand may not move fully. And I was scared. And cannot be more thankful to this universal force that Bharat sir just came next day and he said, don't worry about that. Don't listen to the doctors. Doctors said that my leg would be amputated and I'm standing in front of you. And it just gave me such strength, such power, and many other teachers. I cannot thank them enough. Gururaj sir was there, and such support from all the teachers and everyone around and everyone in my family. Oh, I cannot explain. I could not do anything at that time without the support. It was all the support of everyone else that made me believe that it can pass. And then the magical things happen. And then there is this Ayurveda doctor I believe in. Uh, so it's there in Indranagar, the name of Ayush, Sagar Ayush. So he helped me tremendously, tremendously. The doctors were very shocked. It was very magical that they said that it would take at least 8 to 10 months to get my hand even straight if it gets straight. It would not get straight. They were just trying that my hand comes still so that I can eat food. But then within 3 months, 2, 3 months, I was on my hands. Within 5 months, I was trying handstands again, and they could not believe it. The hand is straight and already there. So the strength would have definitely come from the practice. All of this to be able to believe and to be able to continue doing that has to come from the practice that way.
It's it's so emotional and so inspiring as well. Don't give up. There
No,
is always a
yeah,
hope, and then
it's the
you
mind.
can always bounce back. It's
It's
the
the
mind.
mind.
It's very true. And you know what happened when I was so into more of an asana practice. I got an injury. Okay, so I was playing cricket and then I went on hit the wall there, and then doctor said it's kind of a fracture. At that time, as I said, I was so in love with the Einstein. I was crying. I was crying. It felt like a breakup kind of
Yes.
feeling that my girlfriend has gone there
Yeah.
because every day you want to get onto mat, every day you want to practice. That's I was practicing twice a day back then. I still do, but not an asana part, more of a breathing work I do. But then that's the feeling I had. I was missing something.
Hmm.
And as I'm talking today now, if I get an injury, maybe I'll deal with in a different mindset altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to get onto the mat to practice. I
Mm-hmm.
can just sit and then
Very,
do
yeah.
breathing and then connect myself.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
meditation is
Meditation.
we can
Yeah.
do that. It's a beautiful learning. This is something which I wanted to ask. Okay, do you think we will have to change the modules what currently being taught in teacher training or instructor course?
Hmm.
I personally feel we'll have to bring in Ayurveda as well, which you said, because past 1 year I've been talking to a lot of Ayurvedic doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of medicines, innocent medicines, all organic to to keep me healthy, to be more active. Kind of. I've been consulting a lot of them, which you said, Rajasic, Tamasic, Sattvic. There are different kinds of foods. Also, there is Vata, Pitta, Kapha. There is three body types, which I think. I'll give you an example. Okay, I went to an Ayurvedic doctor and then I became very curious. I was reading more of an Ayurvedic books, and then I wanted to know what is my body type. And then he said your body type is Vata. And then for Vata person, the asana should be very minimal. You can't do brisk and then doing it for longer hours. Doesn't go well with your body. This has not been taught.
Yeah.
This has not been thought. When I did TTC, it's not been thought. And do you think what is your again? People who would listen to this, they might be a yoga teacher already established. Somebody who's a newbie, it could be. But then it's kind of your personal views. What do you think?
Kiran, I think the curriculum, first of all, I don't think it has to change because every teacher is offering what they know the best, right? So if you go to Shivananda Ashram, the teachings are very different in 1 month and still so much to learn. If you go to YIC, it's different. If you go to Iyengar Yoga, Himalayan Iyengar Yoga, it's very different. You go to Bharat Sir, very different. Even though both of them have learned it from same teacher, the teachings are very different. So whatever they have learned, they're offering that. So I don't think in 1 month, first of all, there is no fixed curriculum as such in TTC that has to be changed. Every school
Yeah,
offers
yeah,
differently. So that either you go like that, that you choose some of the best schools and at least learn from them, some of the best ones. At least, like, the Bihar School of Yoga is there, or Asyasa, or uh, so many good universities are there. Kevalya Dham is there. So you learn from a very
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
um more organic way of learning where you can get, first of all. Second of all, not the curriculum has to change, but I think the timing should change. It is 1 month, and saying that it is teachers is a very, I don't really support the idea of definitely 1 month as an introduction course is a good way, but as a teacher coming out of it can be a little risky and not very good if they just teach. For example, I've seen some of them just going out and just waiting for certificate and saying I'm a yoga teacher and know everything. It is dangerous actually for people. Suppose if someone has any health issues, and nowadays doctors do suggest yoga, so they reach out to yoga teachers, and someone who has serious back pain or spondylitis or sciatica pain or slip disc, and you don't know what to do with that and never heard of these terms, and you're going to such teachers, can be very dangerous to anybody's health. So I think the curriculum should have more time period rather than changes in that what they're currently offering. And as far as Ayurveda goes, I think there should be a separate course that one should have basic knowledge of. So there can be 1 month introduction to Ayurveda course, because it is a wide scope of knowledge. If we try to put that in, so Bharat sir did introduce a Ayurvedic teacher in his we do have subject of that, and he taught the anatomy in respect to Ayurveda also, but it's only that much that you can do in a month's time. So to be able to understand Ayurveda, first of all, we should just go to a separate course and learn that as a basic, as an introduction, not to teach but just to understand ourselves, understand what happens. And as you said, what kind of asanas should be taught to each person, that is right now left to self understanding. It is just left to our own self that we be self responsible, until and unless you have some personal trainer, personal teacher appointed, and they're seeing your body and you're paying huge amount of money for that. It, for now in this industry, it is left to just this much that you understand your body and do it accordingly.
yeah. Maybe one day we will have both, because there is Ayurveda and yoga.
Ayurveda and yoga, yeah. There
It
should be
is
an
right,
introduction, and there
and it's
should be
always,
understanding what is good for your body also and doing accordingly.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's there. Okay, and then, so what is your goal as a yoga teacher?
Just to spread this beautiful knowledge to more and more people. Basically, to spread awareness that people who think that health is expensive, just managing health is expensive, and that's not expensive. I think they're just being ignorant. And we were ignorant. Uh, Luckily, it came into our lives a little earlier, thinking. Uh, Plus, the awareness not only of health, physical health, with the spread of this depression and anxiety and the kind of life that we are living nowadays, that was bound to happen. It was bound to affect our mental sheath, our manomaya kosha. So, how we can balance that and not fight with ourselves? There's so many years that we live onto this earth. If we, it's how we choose fighting or staying with it peacefully. And if yoga is teaching you that, then that is the kind of awareness that I would like to spread with everybody, more and more people. Let it just spread.
You will.
More, not the COVID
All the best for
spreading,
that. I know. I know.
not
No.
not the COVID spreading, but I hope the yoga spreads. How COVID
Yoga
spread.
spreads. Yeah. holistic way. Yeah, in a
In
holistic
a
way,
holistic
as
way.
we
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
because as you said, there is a weird yoga. We don't want that to
Ah,
spread. We want
I know.
holistic of yoga to spread.
Yeah, not to make fun of the
And
term yoga. And we are, to be very honest, I've said this to so many people. I don't think we are teachers. I don't think it makes us teachers in few years. It takes long time to come to a
time,
stage
it does take time.
to
Yeah,
call yourself as a teacher where you're teaching. I think just learned and then implement and just trying to share that knowledge with everyone. To be a teacher, I don't think there's a word, but then not not the teacher what everybody looks up to, that they can heal completely and they can solve and they can do this. It takes a long time to be able to reach to that stage. So no, I'm not really in favor of using the term teacher to anybody as such. It takes a lot of experience to become that teacher.
I, I agree with you because how mine was seeing this thing was, let's say, so we go to pre-nursery, there is separate kind of a teacher. Okay, so we go to the
Yeah, yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
okay. So we go to a primary. It's not the MBA lecturer who comes and teaches there, right? There's
Hmm.
a two different kind of a teacher who's there, and then we call them lecturers, we call them teachers here, and that's how I'm seeing it. Which you rightly said. First, you become an instructor. You teach whatever you know. For an
Yeah.
example. Uh, for 10th standard people, if you're taking a class for 10th standard and then you already done MCom, it makes sense. You yourself has done 10th standard and then you're taking a 10th class. It doesn't justify. uh, that's my personal humble
Hmm.
opinion that
Hmm.
if you call yourself instructor,
Yeah.
keep practicing, keep doing a lot
Instructor,
of
or
courses.
probably it is just for me, I would say it's just sharing the feeling of bliss that I feel while practicing. The feeling of bliss that comes, I would like to share that joy with everyone. And that, to be honest, can only happen when your cup is full, when your glass is full. It cannot happen when your glass is empty and you're going. So it gets filled with your own practice, and then the only thing that you have to do is just share that, spread that joy with everyone. I think that is more blissful, sharing it with everyone, that joy. More responsibly, but yes, sharing.
More responsibly, yeah, more responsibly.
Yes.
That's something not to be taken off. So, one final question
Yes.
before I let you go: what is your advice for the new yoga teachers or instructors, whatever we have to say? Somebody who wants to get into this and start teaching.
First of all, I'm very happy with the new wave of the yoga that is coming. Of course, it comes up with its own pros and cons. The cons being that it is used very dangerously, but there are pros that it is spreading a lot. I hear so much and new people coming in. And even then, the statistics speaks that it's only, 10% of people are just quote unquote saying fitness, in that there are percentage of people who are practicing yoga asanas as such. So imagine that we have to reach to rest 90% of the people who are there. So I'm very happy that there are more teachers coming in, but I would just tell them the same thing what we have discussed. The highlight of it is being a little more responsible while teaching. Continue doing with your practice. The same thing I would repeat, that until unless your own cup is not full, your glass is not full, you cannot share that with others. So that would only happen with your self practice. No other person can make you and force you do that until unless you're not doing your self practice. So that is one. If you're not continuing with it, you cannot teach others. You cannot share that joy. You cannot share the joy of doing some practice and then feeling that bliss. How can you share that experience with others if we have not felt it ourselves? And then, secondly, there are many people who have asked me, how can I start teaching and how can I leave my job and then can I do this after leaving the job and become a yoga teacher? Is it more sustainable? Again, will have its own pros and cons. If I look back now, I have done both. work and then teaching and then running a studio, everything has its own plus and minus. So if your drive is very strong to teach, then you can leave the job and then go ahead for teaching. But if you're looking for your self growth, then I think it's okay to continue with the job and then still continue with your self practice. That is very important because practicing and teaching are two different things altogether. In my practice, as you said, that you could be practicing handstand and doing advanced pranayamas, doing it for long hours. But when it comes to teaching, you should know what you're not supposed to do, what you're not supposed to give them. That not is more important than telling them what to do. Not like what can person do if suddenly they come up with a back pain. So go ahead and take up this um, profession of teaching. I don't want to say it as profession, but this responsibility, the
Service.
service of teaching. When you're very clear that you are into service of people and you are as good as maybe I don't find the right term, but maybe as a doctor, people are coming to get to heal to you. So do that more responsibility. You do it with service and all your answers will be clear. But if you do it with the intention wrong intentions, I should have more batches, I should get more popular, I'm able to do more asanas, I'm able to earn more out of it, or anything like that. And I just have to teach 3-4 hours a day and my whole day is free. Oh, this has come to me a lot. Surprisingly, it comes to me from close friends, family members. Well, of course, they don't understand what goes behind that, but then, yeah, it's not as easy as just teaching 4 hours and rest of the hours you're free to do anything that you're doing. So, it comes with a lot of work. It doesn't goes away.
True. It's a lot of dedication
Oh,
and zeal.
dedication.
Should have a zeal and then right kind of mindset. What you said, service. You should have that. Otherwise, you might come, but then one day you might feel it's not for me, and then you will quit.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I've
definitely,
seen.
definitely.
Yeah. What a beautiful conversation I had with you, and thank you so much for being my first guest.
Thank you,
And
Kiran.
my,
Thank you so
I'll
much.
keep calling you whenever you're
Anytime,
free, and then
anytime,
share the knowledge to the people.
definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking this initiative. Feels so good to be a part of this. I'd be looking
Me
forward
too.
for
We
having
are long way to go.
all teachers together in one platform and discussing. That will be such a nice discussion. Such
Yeah,
nice.
it will be nice because I think we should do
We
it.
have
Our
to do it.
generation definitely we should do
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
We will.
Great.
Thanks for watching, and please be sure to like, subscribe and press the bell icon to receive the notification. Cheers.